Hey, what's up? What's up? It's Coach Rashid, and I'm here. All right, this is part two of the 8 ways, right? Personal development is key to financial freedom. I know you're probably saying, what is that all about? Is that your book? Well, my book, yes, it is my book. We're talking about my book, 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better. Within this book, as I explained on part one, which you should definitely check out when you get a chance. On part one, I talk about why I wrote the book, and I talk a little bit about some of the intro. But like I said before, I jumped into chapter one, which is breakthrough, and I said I would come back and talk to you a little bit about the personal note that I wrote at the beginning of the book that got really, really interesting. And I did not go into that on the first one because I wanted to get into chapter one. So I wanted you to actually be here and kick it off chapter one. But I do want to go into the personal note that I have at the beginning of the book that talks about some a little deeper subjects, right? Things that make you think, things that you can, kind of really, really find reasoning, finding out what does this really mean to me personally? If I hear this phrase, what does it mean to me? And I want you to define that for yourself. So, as you know, I am Coach Rashid because I actually did get certified as a strategic intervention coach through the Tony Robbins course. And I did that, like I said, because I really wanted to better myself and in relation to people and behaviors and why people do what they do, how we can influence behavior. And at the end of the day, how can I be just a better person? And and it was really good. One of the things that I wanted to do when I did take on a coach was to write a book. And I said, okay, how do I do this? What do I need to do? And we worked on that. And guess what? I wrote the book. And that's how we got 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better. My dad was really instrumental in it, and he helped me to put it together, to do it the right way. And so that's what we're talking about is the book really gives you balance when it comes to the financial side of your life. And because most people, we have so much good we can do to the world, in the world, maybe for the world and our world around us. But if we don't have the finances, it really, really causes um, limitations that you may think they're physical limitations, but when you're stressed and when you're seeking, gains that are not there and they just don't come, and you seem like the world is crashing or down around you, then it causes additional problems. So it goes from just personal to actual physical. And that physical will materialize in a financial way because if you're not able to attract money, then you're going to feel like money is just evading you. And so the things that you want to do in your life for your kids, for yourself, for your family, for, just to better your environment and your circumstance, you won't see that happening because there's just one thing after the other. So in order to identify how personal development will help to clear out some of those cobwebs that might be in the way, then this is what we're here to help you with. All right. So I'm going to talk about the personal note from the author. But before I do that, I want to give you kind of where we left off in chapter one, breakthrough. In chapter one, I was speaking about this next piece here. It says we have to go to work on what we want, right? Working through the pain and give it 120% of what we think we are capable of. Tony Robbins says that what he discovered in his work with people and companies is that when we say that we have tried everything or we can't do anymore, we are actually lying to ourselves to lessen the pain of disappointment. We condition ourselves in this way. Unfortunately, we never find out when we allow the distraction to halt our progress. We are normally only an arm's length away, like I said before, an arm's length away from the success of our meticulously planned endeavor. Think about this. The divorce rate in the U.S., how many people quickly give up and go their separate ways without really putting in effort, right? Like I said, arm's length away from success and you quit. And it happens in relationships. And that's what I gave an example of. So you can definitely read into that. But it mostly happens when you're trying to get a new job, or, if you are working hard and you just get tired because you just feel like you're banging your head up against the wall and these type of things, right? And of course, I don't subscribe to anybody getting lottery tickets, but you hear people all the time, they're going to go get the scratch off. They're going to get the $10, $20, $2, whatever, because they just feel like, hey, I want to get this. I'm going to win this, right? And the system is set up that way. But that one day you don't go in there and you don't pick it up, or you don't have the right numbers, and you say, you know what? It's been 10 days in a row. I've spent $20. I'm not going to do it. And that one day somebody wins at that store that you normally go to. Stuff like that happens, right? And you're like, man. So I'm just saying there's so many examples, good or bad, pro or con, that represent you get that close. And the one time you just say, forget it, something comes. So in this context, I'm looking at it from a perspective of you have the ability to really scale your capabilities up if you just stay the course, stay focused, stay on point, and you will get there, right? So in here, it's just a little bit more information here I'm going to talk about. Do you long for the best chance at success in your new venture, right? This is in Breakthrough. It's still in chapter 1. Do you have the online or offline challenges? Many entrepreneurs have been interested in starting a company, yet they fail to break through the pain of the struggle, of the challenge. You might be asking the question, how do we go from interested to fully committed? Because this is about being fully committed. Breakthrough. The only way to break through is you get fully committed, right? Not just interested, but fully committed. And I got that from a talk that Eric Thomas was doing back in the day. Let's start this with education. So Chris Widener, I don't know if you know Chris Widener. Chris Widener, a well-known leadership author and speaker, says, you must be a lifelong learner. You can't just wish it will work. Get educated on how to make it work, right? Do the research to make sure you have the current tools and the right resources to help you in the game, help you to lead the industry for years to come. So what I talked about in 2020 was that, during the pandemic, a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, so automation is coming, industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. It is here, right? And I said, how do you upskill or reskill yourself? You got to upskill, reskill, or a new skill. You have to find a way to bring more value to who you are as a person, as a brand, right? And as an entrepreneur. How do you do that so that you can attract more customers and grow your business, so on and so forth? So this is kind of what I was talking about here was, keep your eye, keep yourself in the game, lead the game. Don't just be in the game, lead the game or the industry for years to come. Find out what others are doing in that same industry. Then find out how you can 10x what they're doing to be the best in that industry. Let's say you are starting an online tech business and you created some impressive apps or something like this. You have some success, then wonder why, after a while, you fall short, right? What happens, right? Your income has taken a drastic decline. You're not making revenue, no sales. What happened? What did you do wrong? First thing I would ask is, have you studied your industry? And do you subscribe to the periodicals, newsletters? Do you try to make sure that you're up to stuff, abreast of the new things that are going on, the new developments, right? Think about in the fourth industrial revolution, AI has become a big thing. So when we talk about AI, a lot of people may think of only one-dimensional AI, right? You may just think Chat GPT, right? You say, oh, somebody can type in anything and it'll give you all the answers. All right, but let me give you a more tangible AI example. You go into a McDonald's, you go into a Burger King, you go into any fast food place. And most of the chains, right, the national chains or international chains, fast food, they're going to have a kiosk that you go to and you put in your information. I'm going to tell you, when we were traveling from California to Texas not too long ago, literally wherever we stop, like we go to the gas station or something, get gas, and then we'll try to go get something to eat. Went to a fast food place. You really walked in there. You had to punch in. There was nobody standing at the counter. Everybody was in the back cooking, and you would have to punch it in. Now, somebody would come up and they say, hey, do you need any help? But they will help you put it into the machine that was standing out front. So they weren't taking your order directly. That was happening last year. So you know it was happening before that. So this is a common thing. So that's just giving you an example of AI. They're going to utilize these machines to do that job. When I was in England, and no, I was in Dubai. When I was in Dubai before, a few years back, this is like 2021. I remember being in the airport and you would see a machine making pizzas. And that machine would just, and it would actually finish it and it would put it right there for the customer. Like it did everything, right? You put your money in, you did everything, you paid for it, and then it would make it and it would, boom, it would finish it up and put it right there in front of you. So this is what it is, right? So in your field, are you letting AI become a replacement, or are you doing something to bring more value to yourself so that you won't get replaced? You may have to shift. You may have to go into another industry if you like. Whatever it takes, you're going to have to step up and make it happen. Simple as that, right? They're going to keep building. They're going to keep, the technology is going to keep growing, right? It's just a matter of what are we going to do in the meantime, right? So you have to invest in yourself in order to grow your value, period. Breakthrough. It's a matter of motivation. I'm telling you, this right here, this is the part that I wanted to really hit you on today. Step up and break through. As this rings in my ear from my last seminar, it does make me think about the leaders today and what sets the great apart from the good. They dare to set a new standard. This, I understand, helps to take root in the hearts of the seekers of incredible success. Most will not say they knew the level of success they were going to attain because we, for some reason, shortchange ourselves of what we are capable of doing. We limit our vision to about 5 years, yet we are practicing the rules of the game, and we can go beyond what we initially believed we could accomplish. When we settle in and live the principles of greatness, anticipating our next massive action towards a determined outcome, we can do practically anything and do it fantastically well. Great leaders don't just follow the lessons from Business Management 301. They create a path, they leave breadcrumbs for their apprentice to follow. Great leaders don't just understand the basics and even the advanced tools. They actually utilize those tools and then they leave a path for their apprentice, for the ones that's coming up. So you don't just do it for yourself, you're doing it for those coming after you as well. Those that are in your community, those that want to do or be involved with what you're doing, you actually are doing something to benefit them. That's very powerful. Today we can find that many have chosen to go out and chart their own course. A key to success is happiness in what we do. This topic will be expounded upon in later chapters. When I talk about happy, I put a twist on it that's a little different. And so we'll get into that as well. So like I said, I'm not going to go through everything in the book, but I wanted to highlight that for you today. And like I said, we're not going to do very long sessions. I just want to get into some really interesting stuff about chapter 1, breakthrough. One of the key things about breakthrough is I highlight a few hints from a writer called Kevin Dahm that says what smart leaders do to set them apart from the average people. And there are key things that smart people do that set them apart. Let me give you those right quick. 1, quiet your inner voice. Don't interrupt someone else talking with your thinking. Be polite, if nothing else, right? Just let people talk while they're talking. Do not interrupt them. Argue with yourself. Stop before you open your mouth. Practice your proper breathing while forcing your inner voice to take a break and allow the listening instead of interrupting. Quiet your inner voice, because a lot of times when somebody's talking, you're thinking about what you're going to say next. Stop it. Cut that off, right? Be polite. And then argue with yourself, right? Before you open your mouth. See if that makes sense of what you're about to say. Listen to what they're saying to make sure you respond in an appropriate way, right? Number 3, act like you're curious. Even if you're like, think about it. Give it some thought before. Do number 1 and 2, right? And then think of relevant questions that you can ask so they can clarify. Because there might be something in what they're saying is maybe different from how you see it. You may know this and you may understand the conversation. You may understand what they're telling you, but how about thinking about what they're saying and then ask a question that's relevant to what they're saying? And you may find out a whole different perspective on the topic at hand. Number 4, find the kernel of truth. What does that mean? Some people listen and consider how the idea can be made better without discounting the idea. Think about the value in what's being said versus, oh, I already know that, so I'm not going to listen. No, there might be something that could come out of that conversation. That might be a topic you may know it very well. But what if you ask a question and you get an answer that you didn't expect, and now you see it differently? And guess what? Now you can actually make something better out of that conversation. Value is created, not just presented, right? It may not be much value in what you hear, but then the way that you actually understand it and you ask a question, then there might be value that's created from the conversation, right? So it might not be valuable at first, but it may end up becoming valuable because you gave it a chance. Find the kernel of truth, and then when you connect those two, boom, you got something new. All right, number 6, focus on the message, not the messenger. How many of us need to hear that again? Focus on the message, not the messenger. Most people will sit there and look at this person and say, why are they talking to me? This person don't have a degree. This person doesn't have a car. This person doesn't have a house. This person doesn't even talk good. But you're judging the messenger. Why don't you listen to the message? Heard that before, but are you doing it? Disrupt your learning process by hearing the content without contempt for the contributor. Wow. Listen to what they're saying, and you might be surprised. You know, my father told me, listen to your son. My son talks a lot. A lot. a lot. But I drilled into him, you got a question? Okay, let's look it up together and find out an answer that we both can agree on. Don't just take my word. Let's find out, right? And so as he grew, this is 2, 3, 4 years old, whatever. As he started to grow, he would always go look up. He would always get the book. He would always be reading through books. And so he's very inquisitive. So now that he gets a little older, and now it's always, why? I think y'all know this, right? But now he's in school and he's doing very well. And it's interesting because he'll come home and I always ask, hey, how was your day? What did you do? Right? What did you learn? And we talk. And sometimes he just unsolicited, it just goes. But the content, the value is amazing. For his age, it's amazing, right? So listen to your kids because your kids can teach you a lot more than you think. Look, I'm not going to go into any more because I told you we're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it sweet. And I appreciate your attention. And all that means is we're going to have another session. And we're going to still be on chapter 1. And I'm going to talk more about the introduction the next time we come on because that personal note has some very, very deep thought stuff in it. So like I said, I don't want to extend it out too long this time, but I did want to come back to you. I'm trying to do like every 2 or 3 days. I'm going to try to put something out for you. All right. So look, I thank you for being here with me for this time that we've been on. I hope that you got some value out of the 8 ways to be 10 times better, the book, but 8 ways personal development is key to your financial freedom, right? If you are investing in anything out there, if it's stocks, if it's bonds, if it's mutual funds, money market, if it's crypto, if it's Forex, binary options, yield farming, if it's anything out there, whatever you're doing to better your financial situation, make sure that you find a way, right, to raise your value. And your personal development is key. When you understand who you are and what you're about, when you get your brand right, when you get your goals in place, when you get your principles at the right level, the stress goes down because you have vision. You know where you want to go. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So I appreciate you. Hope you got a copy of 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better because next time we're going to get into it all over again. I'll meet you right here, same place, different time. but I appreciate you so much. Hey, check this out. There's something new I was working on, so you might enjoy it. Peace, and I'm out.